Okay, I'm starting with the torso back sloper to show you all how to do a t-shirt, which this is one of my favorite patterns to show. I think it's something that can sound quite intimidating for as simplistic as it can be. So I've got, again, torso back, that is all we're gonna work with. So the very first thing is just go ahead, eliminate the 2 darts at the back. We definitely don't need those. And the reason for that is just because these darts give us that fit that tucks in to the small of the back. Most of the time with a t-shirt, you want it to be relaxed. So the second thing we're going to do is bring in our shoulder width. So whatever the distance here in the dart, and on this little guy, about 1/8 of an inch. So whatever that distance is, you want to bring the shoulder in that amount at the armhole. And then from there, create a straight line. Just to blend that. So that straight line comes again from the adjusted armhole measurement here, and then 0 at the back neck. And then we want to drop the armhole. So it would be about 1.5 inches on full scale sloper. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do like 3/8. And then from there, that new dropped armhole and the revised shoulder, you're gonna draft your armhole. Cool. And then we want to open up from the side body here down to the hip. So just, we're getting rid of that bend in the waist, because again, we're going for relaxed. Okay, I'm gonna cut this out. So think of how the sloper currently is going to fit the body. You know that on the woven pattern at the hip, this fits the hip. So we have an option to go ahead and slash and spread the pattern to make it a little more relaxed around the hip, if that's the look you're going for. So to do that, it's pretty simple. It's only 1 slash. You don't need to do multiple. We just want to go ahead and find midpoint at shoulder. And from that, draw a straight line that is parallel with your center. Again, coming from that midpoint. Draw it in my green highlighter. And this is our new slash point. And just cut this in 2. So we're going to slash and spread evenly. Okay. So on a full scale sloper, you'd want to add anywhere from 1 inch to 3 inches. Again, it's just, I'm gonna add 3/8. Again, this is just to add a little more of a relaxed fit. Giving that space in there. Just be mindful that whatever the space is that you add here once is quadruple that on the round. So you're adding a bunch of ease. This next step is probably one of my favorites though. So get this cut out. I'm just going to cut over the shoulder to blend that. Okay, so there's the back body. Not quite complete, but good visual. So for the front body, you can go ahead and mirror it now, and I'm just going to trace around this. I'm going to use a pencil first, and then I'll use a highlighter to show you guys what I'm going to do for my changes. Beautiful. Okay, so there's front body. So for the front body, I like to drop my neckline at least by 2 inches, maybe 3 on the quarter scale. What do I want to do? I'm going to be drastic. We're going to go for 3/8. So that'll blend to 0 at your shoulder and neckline, and then it'll scoop down towards center where we just made that new mark. Your shoulder armhole here, we already know that this will walk out because it's a direct trace of our back body. But then we want to scoop out the armhole a little more at the front. On a full scale sloper, it's 1/8 of an inch. So it is simply just giving it a little added scoop, about 1/3 of the way up from the side seam. Again, side seam will be at 0, shoulders at 0. It's just a little minuscule scoop here, and the rest of the body remains. Okay, there's one final change that I do want to make here. Absolutely not necessary, but I'm going to tell you why there's a benefit to it, is shifting our shoulder forward by 1/2 inch. And this helps with overall fitting on body. So anytime that you can give more shoulder to the back and take it from the front, it just keeps your shirt from like falling back on body and kind of choking you. So it just helps bring some of the weight forward and keeping the shirt in position where you intend for it to fit. So to do that, you can do it 2 ways. You could either truly draft it up. So let me just add some paper back here. And again, I like to do 1/2 inch on a full scale sloper. I'm going to highlight the original shoulder just so you can see that. So you can extend it this way and then take from here, knowing that this will go away. The other method you could do is truly mark your front first, cut from here, and then tape that to your back. Beautiful. Okay, another thing that, just before we put these 2 pieces to the side of our minds, say we want to add a pocket tee. So pocket tees, the top of the pocket is always best at mid armhole. So I'm just going to draft that out now. So kind of mid armhole to your armpit. Perfect. And this will just give us placement options later. So on that final pattern, you could either have a dashed outline for pocket placement if you want the entire placement to be there, or it could just be simply 2 drill holes where the 2 top edges of the pocket will meet. And these will both be cut on fold. But for the next point, I want to talk about sleeve real quick. So the sleeve, you want to measure your armhole. I'm not going to say mine out loud because I'm being kind of sloppy, but measure your armhole. And then all other measurements, we're actually not going to use a sleeve sloper for this because we have made such drastic adjustments here. There's no reason to try to manipulate the sleeve sloper to do the same. We're just going to draft fresh. So the first thing I like to do is you want to measure your model, your wearer, your mannequin, whatever, from bicep to wrist. So again, this is your bicep to wrist. So it's not the top of your shoulder. It would be right at kind of your underarm. So where your underarm meets your body. Measure that distance. And then just know that the halfway point, that's your elbow. So then from there, your armhole measurement that we just took from the front and back body is what you'll draft across at your bicep. What do I want? Gosh, it looks so huge here, but this does actually match my measurements. Okay, so we've got this here. Then when you're measuring a wrist, you want to measure with your soft tape measure here. You're not actually measuring the wrist. And the reason for that is because you want to be sure you can get the shirt on and off without popping any threads, anything like that, or that somebody could pull it up to their forearm. So take that measurement and apply that here. I know we're working with these like little minis, so whatever your wrist is, whatever your palm is, just divide it by 4. And then straight line to the hem. And then we'll know we'll want a 1/2 inch turned out here. So I'm just gonna show you that bent shape. And then to create the sleeve cap, because that's what we're missing. Since this is so oversized, it's gonna look like such a flat sleeve cap. And that's a-okay because when we gave this extra material into this portion here, it shifts that shoulder. So it'll be more of a drop shoulder. So 3 inches on full scale sloper. I'm gonna do 7/8. And then from there, again, this is just an extension to here from the center line. You can draft a straight line. And then draft your bicep. So these portions here, you want to make, divide half of the sleeve. You want to divide that into quadrants along the bicep. I'm going to just eyeball it, but you guys are totally going to measure it. So you've got this here. We want to bump in, again, I'm talking full scale measurements, 1/8 here, out 3/16 of an inch here, and stay at a 0 here and a 0 here. And that allows us to add a curved sleeve cap, which is a wonderful thing. So you can either then transfer that onto the other side of the sleeve, or let's see. Give it a little fold in half, and then you know you're, again, 100% accurate, because even when your numbers are the exact same, the one thing that is always so easy to change is shaping. It's so easy to mess that up. So just cutting it as it's needed is perfect to overcome any of that. But yeah, there you have it. For you've got your back, your front, pocket, sleeve, and then for collar, whether it's ribbed or not, measure your neckline and then create a rectangle for that. So I'll just go ahead and give you a real quick visual. And this will be folded, so whatever your width for this rectangle is, think of it being twice as what you really intend for it to look like on body. But that's your oversized t-shirt.